we're here at AviaDev. We've heard a lot from the industry stakeholders, a lot of the airlines, airport authorities, and as well the regulatory bodies about what needs to change and pushing it forward. You spoke on your panel on the need for consolidation. What does that look like for Airlink?
Well, consolidation comes in different forms. I think it goes about the cooperation. There needs to be some rationalization. We think there are far too many airlines trying to eke out a survival throughout the whole of Africa. And given that AviaDev is a platform for the development of air access throughout Africa, we think one of the elements needs to be that consolidation that we talk about. You need fewer airlines, all operating at and above their critical mass. So in other words, efficiencies of scale need to be applied. And how we see that transforming the industry is the cooperation, and the consolidation will come through airline relationships and airlines working more closely together to create that efficiency of scale.
Talking about scale, airlines working together, you've built now a very considerable network with code shares with various number of airlines who are flying sub-Saharan Africa. Will you be considering expanding that into more long-haul routes at any point in the future?
We have 36 airline commercial relationships, all of which are currently active. They're dynamic. 6 of those are code-share relationships. We're very proud of having code-share partners like United, Lufthansa, British Airways, Emirates, Swissair, and Qatar. And the 30 interline relationships that we have are also very important. All of those are doing long-haul services, connecting Southern Africa and our key hubs being Johannesburg and Cape Town, and Durban to a lesser extent, with the rest of the world via their major hubs, including Istanbul and Frankfurt, London and Doha and Dubai, and so on and so forth. It's not our aspiration in the short to medium term to go and compete in the long-haul space. We'd rather build the relationships and rely on those relationships to give us access to the world's source markets for the destinations that we provide services to within our domain, which is basically the sub-region.
Now, I'm going to give you a double-edged question here about fleet development and policy change as well, what you'd like to see. In terms of your fleet as well, you've got a strong fleet, plus 60 aircraft that you're operating now.
Right.
Will you be considering any of the options, A220, A320, 737s adding?
So we're very happy with the fleet of Embraers that we have. We think that they are fit for purpose. This is all about right size application of gauge to market science. And at the same time, given the relationships that we have with our commercial partners, we need to bring about frequency in order to create the availability at the right time of the day. And the right time of the day goes about, there is always a point-to-point market. Some of that is time sensitive, some of it less time sensitive, like visiting friends and relatives. There's also the connectivity requirement. And in order to satisfy all aspects of this multifaceted market, we need to create frequency. So that's our mission in the short term. And we think that the variety of gauges that we have within the Embraer fleet, basically starting off at 37 seats and going right up to approximately 110 seats, that's fit for purpose for now. Having said that, there are certain routes that we operate, mainly the trunk routes within South Africa, what we call the Golden Triangle between Johannesburg and Cape Town, Johannesburg and Durban, and Cape Town and Durban. Possibly 1 or 2 other routes domestically in South Africa, 1 more route, and within the region maybe 1 more route as well. Those routes lend themselves more to a slightly larger gauge, such as a narrow body like the Airbus 320 or the Boeing 737-800. Certainly nothing new on the horizon from an Airlink perspective. We would be looking at, and in the medium term, stepping up into a large gauge aircraft specifically for the purpose of reducing our unit costs and how we take seats to the market at a lower price in competition against our main competitors.
You mentioned connectivity, expanding that. Now, there's a lot of conversation in the industry now about intra-Africa connectivity, opening up the market, SAATM. A lot of conversation, not too much action. What action would you like to see from the industry?
Well, I think firstly we need to think about liberalization in its overall context. What are we trying to achieve? And, we hear stories about people needing to get from point A to point B within Africa via point C, like Paris or Frankfurt, something like that. And that's just absolutely a no-no. For me, the emphasis of SAATM needs to be to open new markets, to provide new points of access. What we've seen happen with SAATM is it's become an opportunity for airlines to get economically active in markets that are already served. So in other words, pick out the eyes and focus only on commercial opportunities where there is no need for additional capacity. And what that really does is it spoils the market for the incumbents, being the operators of third and fourth freedom traffic rights, by operators gaining access to those markets through fifth freedom traffic rights. So we think that one of the aspects of SAATM that needs to be standardized is if there are third and fourth operators on a route, in other words, an airline domiciled in South Africa getting access to markets in Namibia, you don't want an airline domiciled in Ethiopia getting access to the market between Namibia and South Africa. That doesn't make any sense because those markets are already served. What you would like to see is an airline based in Ethiopia getting access to markets that are not served at all in order to open up new markets. And that's where we think that the liberalization of the skies of Africa has a role to play. It's about opening up air access and creating market opportunities where there are no markets currently served.